In case you can't tell what's in that picture, it's British. They're here somewhere. You put them through hell, but who knows? Who knows? Now then, I wanted to mention the murders that FBI told me in '82, after the antifreeze and all that. They told me that what I told bored people, and the agent pretend to yawn. And now then, it's been so so long since then. And over the time, I have continued, though I had antifreeze in me, I couldn't get jobs, or the jobs I had, I did work for Computer Science Corporation, and hey, I was doing manuals on the computer for the Navy. And then after I'd worked there a couple of months, this is after the antifreeze, and I'm in Huntsville, and don't know if my kids are alive or dead, really. And my apartment taken from me illegally. But one day I walk in, I worked at night, and I came in about 3 o'clock and supposed to work till 11, but we got a lot of hours, which meant better money. But anyway, I walked in, and no sooner had I gotten to my desk computer than two people that I'd never met called me in the office and started screaming like they were nuts. And they said, "You didn't put down that you work for the district attorney here. You get out right now." And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Just that." And she said something about the vacuum club. What was it? There was a guy while I worked at the district attorney's office. He actually worked there for computer science in the back somehow, but he sold vacuum cleaners. And he would go into the homes, and I don't know that he killed anybody. I can't remember now. There was a name for him. And he raped them. And this is why, supposedly, the excuse, they were screaming, and man, they didn't even want me to pick up the lunch in my purse to get out. So that tells you something. Just because I work for the district attorney, they go through all that charade. But anyway, I couldn't get jobs very much anymore. The only thing when I went to Washington out in Falls Church, I worked for Ron Ziegler, who was really deep throat, and he was a good guy. I worked for him while they were out in Vegas in a show in the home office there. And then I'm going to lose who I was referring to here. Okay, I might as well go on to this tape. Will go. I want to get back to the mind control murders. Wayne Williams is in prison in Georgia for killing the blacks children in Atlanta. This is one of them that I had a whole list before then, but I got antifreeze put in me and crossed the state line. And when that trial was going on, I was trying to get to Mary Welcome, his attorney, and I got in touch with her right away, and I was afraid she wouldn't believe me, and instead she says, "I do believe you." She was going to send someone, an attorney of hers, to get a deposition. Well, they tried to kill me again during that time. So anyway, the trial was taken over from Mary in the end by a CIA retired attorney. So I'll leave it at that. He's in jail, and there was mind control used in that. Now, I wanted to give you just a list, a few. I mean, there's a whole lot. Steve McQueen was murdered. Okay, here's Ricky Nelson. Gunnersville, Alabama is near Scottsville and near Huntsville, where I worked for the district attorney. And Moulton, Alabama, where they took me when I was kidnapped, is on the other south of there, probably, I don't know how many miles, not many, 50 at the most, 40. Okay, then you've got his plane crashed in Texas from Gunnersville. Okay, you got Buddy Holly, the big bopper in Ritchie Valley. Ritchie Valens, I was never a fan of his, but their plane went down, and I've always said that was a mind control job. Okay, I want to go to Hugh Hefner. When I was trying to sell my book, I thought that would get people's attention, and And quite frankly, I didn't know about being kidnapped until '83. So I'm doing the book, and all kinds of things are happening to my sons and me. And I thought if I can just get the book published, maybe then somebody will listen. Well, I had that letter from the FBI. I had the GBI, the ABI, Alabama Bureau of Investigation. Let's see. And all this has gone on and on and on. Anyway, I sent my book to Revell, I think was the last one. And then you get into Chuck Revell. You get into a name game and patterns. Okay, Chuck Revell was the assistant FBI director. And I'm not saying he was mean. I don't know. I know Clarence Kelly was. Now then, during that time, this would have been when I got the letter from the FBI. The first time I contacted Hugh Hefner, I was living at Moonraker, so I was doing the book in '78. This would have been during '78, and I contacted a lot of people, and they all turned their backs or got blocked or something. Anyway, Hugh Hefner, his executive office was still in Chicago, and they were in the process during that time of moving to L.A. where they are now. Well, my point in this is that Arthur Kretschmer was on his editorial staff. He was listed in Playboy credits as you open the front page of Playboy magazine. So he was high up in the organization. I mean, you can't get much higher than getting your name listed as officer in his corporation. So I called him when so much was happening, and supposedly that's who I was put through to. And I'll say this, he told me on the phone, he said, I've turned it over to our attorneys, and he said, we will investigate it, I think were his words. Oh, I didn't know he said he would investigate it. Well, the next thing that happened on May the 12th of '79, was it '79 or? I think so. But anyway, right after then, I kept trying to send my book, and it would be returned. And anyway, I had gotten in touch with them again, and then the plane went down. Carrying Hugh Hefner's, well, I don't think Kretschmer was in it, but his editorial staff, the people way up next to him, went down, and I believe killed a bunch of them. I think that plane went down in Chicago. And by the way, Moulton, Alabama is where they took me. His wife, I think next to the last one, excuse me, Hugh Hefner. But anyway, I'm not laughing. I just don't, excuse me. Don't remember exactly right at the moment. It's been a long time. But the girl he married was from Moulton, Alabama, that I believe they had 2 children. So anyway, that was another connection like patterns. Now I want to go on to, and believe me, I'm not laughing because the plane went down. It's just that all of it's so bizarre. And okay. Now then, we had Sean Cassidy. What was his father's name? He was Irish, I believe. He was, well, I know he was married to Shirley. Getting on here, I don't have it written down. Jones, okay. Well, that reminds me now. It was his father that was murdered using mind control. That reminds me. I was thinking last night, listening to all this, and they don't mention me. They are going into background on some of this, but they're not going to mention me because of my kidnapping and who I am, believe me. But I was thinking when I was in grade school, and I knew that this one, the plane was brought down, I just couldn't tell you how. But I was living in this family, thinking, being told they were my family. And the woman, Lina, it was a Moulton clinic. It was a little bitty place in Moulton. And she worked there. And I remember that one of the guys, his name was Don Montgomery, and Deacon Jones. They were in high school, and they were nice kids, really. And what I won't even get into the part I was going to say. Anyway, Don Montgomery